Evans was the kind of student every teacher prayed for. Brilliant. Focused. Always the first to raise his hand. Always the one lifting others up. He was the kind of boy that made you believe in the future. But then, almost overnight, everything changed. His once bright eyes grew dim. His hands, that used to shoot up in excitement, now trembled as he failed test after test. He started showing up late, sometimes not at all. Teachers who once praised him began to despise him. Maybe he was cheating all along, they whispered. Maybe he's just lazy now. They punished him, mocked him, dismissed him as a fraud. No one cared to ask why. No one stopped to see the storm that was swallowing him whole. But I couldn't shake it. I knew there had to be more. Because sometimes the brightest flames burn the most quietly when they're about to go out. And what I discovered about Evans, his secret pain, his silent battle, left me breathless. At first, Evans tried to hide it. He wore that forced smile, the one kids wear when they don't want anyone to see the cracks forming. He would laugh at jokes that weren't funny, act distracted when asked why his work was incomplete. But behind that fake smile was a boy drowning. So, I began to dig. I spoke to people quietly, followed whispers, and finally, the truth hit me like a hammer. Evans wasn't just struggling with school. He had lost everything. A single car accident in Los Angeles had wiped out his entire family. His mother, his father, his 2 younger siblings. Gone in an instant. Evans was the only survivor. Imagine that. Waking up one morning with a family of 5 and going to bed that night completely alone. And yet, nobody at school knew. Not a single teacher. Not a single student. Evans carried this unbearable pain in silence, showing up every day with his books and broken spirit. But as if that loss wasn't cruel enough, the very people who should have been protecting him, his relatives, turned their backs. They swooped in like vultures, taking everything his parents had built. The house, the savings, even the child support meant to keep Evans alive. They claimed it all, denying him a single coin. So there he was, just a boy, stripped of everything. Family gone. Money stolen. Hope vanishing. And yet he still walked through our school gates every day. But where did he live? How did he survive? That answer shocked me even more. Evans had been living in an unfinished building. Cold cement walls. A roof barely holding together. No bed. No warmth. Just shadows and silence. But he wasn't alone there. Inside that same building lived an old woman. A homeless immigrant. A woman who had been robbed of her own belongings and left with nothing. And here's the part that broke me completely. Evans, a boy who had already lost so much, was the one taking care of her. Every morning before school, he would fetch water, cook what little food they had, and make sure the woman was okay. Every evening after classes, instead of resting or playing like the other kids, he would go out searching for small jobs. Cleaning, carrying, running errands, just so they could both survive. Think about that. A boy who had no one looking out for him, still found the strength to look out for someone else. When I pieced it all together, I couldn't hold back tears. And I knew this story couldn't stay hidden any longer. So I called for a board meeting at the school. I told every teacher, every administrator, everything I had discovered. And for once, the whispers about Evans changed. For once, people looked at him with something other than judgment. They saw his courage, his strength, his heart. Together, we started a GoFundMe campaign. The community rallied. Community rallied. We raised enough money to take Evans out of that broken building, enough to feed him, enough to place him on a scholarship. For the first time in years, Evans wasn't carrying the weight of the world all alone. But the fight wasn't over. I tried to confront his relatives. I fought for his rights in court. But without solid evidence, without the documents they had stolen, we couldn't win. They walked away free, and Evans walked away with nothing. Yet he never lost his smile. He never stopped caring for that old woman. And when I asked him once why he kept going despite everything, his answer floored me. He said, Because if I stop now, then all the pain my family went through would mean nothing. I have to make them proud, even if they're not here to see it. That was Evans. Stronger than most men. Braver than most heroes. And so we poured into him. Resources, mentorship, guidance. We gave him the wings he deserved. And Evans chose to fly in a way none of us expected. He chose to study law. Years passed. He worked tirelessly, carrying that same old woman, the only family he had left, along with him. And then one day, I got a call. It was Evans. His voice was steady, but I could hear the excitement trembling in it. "Sir," he said, "I've just been certified as a lawyer. And my first case, it's a big one." I asked him what it was about, and when he told me, I froze. It was his own family. The very relatives who had stolen everything from him were now fighting each other in court, arguing over his father's properties. They thought Evans was long forgotten. They thought he was powerless. But Evans wasn't powerless anymore. Here's where fate showed its hand in the most unbelievable way. One of his clients in that case turned out to be his cousin, the son of one of the very uncles who betrayed him. This cousin, without realizing, handed Evans all the documents that had once been hidden from us. The very proof we needed years ago to bring justice. Evans didn't say a word. He just smiled. Because now, it was his turn. He called me. Together, we arranged a countercase. We filed lawsuits against the entire family, every uncle, every cousin involved. And when they walked into court, ready to tear each other apart, they were blindsided by Evans, the boy they thought was gone, now standing tall as the lawyer bringing them all to justice. But the biggest twist was yet to come. Remember that old woman Evans had been taking care of? The one he sheltered, fed, and loved when no one else was there for him? She had a secret of her own. Because years ago, on the night of the accident, she had been the nurse on duty. She was the one who received the bodies of Evans' family when they were rushed to the hospital. She was the only one brave enough to stay when others refused to touch them. And in her hands, she had kept something. A will. His father's will. She had hidden it all these years, waiting, hoping, praying that one day she would find the boy who had lost everything. And fate, cruel, strange, miraculous fate, had brought them together. So when that will was read in court, everything changed. Justice was served. Evans reclaimed what was rightfully his. His family's name was restored. And the relatives who had betrayed him? Exposed for the world to see. But Evans, he didn't just win. He rose. He chose to adopt the old woman as his mother. He built his own law firm with a foundation dedicated to caring for the needy and the forgotten. People like her, people like him. And every single day, he calls me. Every single day, he thanks me. But, truthfully, it's Evans who taught me. He taught me that even in the darkest nights, even when the world takes everything from you, there's always a reason to fight. There's always a reason to keep going. And sometimes, just sometimes, fate rewards the ones who never give up. If this story touched you, don't just let it pass by. Share it. Talk about it. Let Evans' story remind us all that behind every struggling face is a story we don't see. And don't forget, subscribe for more stories like this, because you never know whose story might inspire the fight in you.